Hey guys, welcome back. When it comes to discussing the mysteries within Final Fantasy XII, there is no doubt that the Quickening ability is one that I found to be quite mysterious, and how the game never really explains how our beloved characters were able to gather together enough energy to mass together these powerful yet devastating attacks. All we know from the game is that these abilities are the equivalent to other limit break-like abilities from other Final Fantasy titles. However, these abilities happen to be one of the biggest mysteries within Final Fantasy XII's lore. When the sight of these abilities first occurred, all that we were ever shown was nothing more than a flashy light show that gave little to no detail explaining what they actually were, which unfortunately was never later explained, if ever discussed. So today we're going to break into miscondensed territory and dive into some minor yet mysterious lore to do just that. Lore that I imagine very few people nowadays even know exist. So to start, we first need to understand how these abilities are even possible in the first place, and then what is actually required to perform them. So in the many iterations we have of Final Fantasy, they all share a reoccurring element within the confinements of their universes, and that feature is magic. However, like in any other title within the franchise, Final Fantasy XII handles its form of magic in a very enigmatic kind of way. Though in the game it is represented by the usual MP bar, magic in Final Fantasy XII is only possible through a peculiar, yet unknown method, the absorption of mist. Now I'll touch on a little bit what mist actually is, but as of right now, that's an entirely different topic for an entirely different video, so in the near future, if you guys are ever interested, keep an eye out for that one. Mist is basically an occurring energy found in almost all regions of the world, affecting all living things, the climate, and even the land itself, and is the primary source on how magic is manufactured and utilized. Have you ever once noticed whenever you cue any form of magic in the game, how there's a slight refracting of the air around your character, along with a little notice of what appears to be mist? Well, your characters are literally harnessing this source of energy, concentrating it, and using that to cast the various forms of magic. However, mist is usually unnoticeable to the naked eye, and it gathers in both living beings and stones called magicite. You could even say that mist resides in ethers and high ethers, since they do replenish lost MP. So, with that said, the next time you're running around the Dalmasca Ester Sands and you notice your MP replenishing, your characters are actually absorbing small amounts of mist from their surroundings into their bodies. Some absolutely beautiful environmental storytelling right there. So now with that little bit out of the way, you might be wondering, how does this all tie in with the Quickenings that our heroes eventually possess? Well, in order to perform these powerful attacks, one must have plenty of magical energy and a considerable amount of concentration to execute these abilities, which does make a lot of sense when you think about it. In the original game, which I find to be more accurate than the Zodiac Age, whenever your characters obtain these abilities over time, their MP is doubled and tripled from their original MP, giving them the much needed stored energy to unleash stronger variations of these attacks upon their foes. In the expanded lore, Balthier was only able to perform his due to the high amount of mist stored in his body, and pretty much what he had collected around him. Unlike him, Fran's magical aptitude was how she was able to execute hers with ease, which doesn't surprise me given the fact that she is literally a master of weapons, which could correlate with her being able to execute these Quickenings with little to no issue at all. What's also interesting is upon execution, depending on whom you're using, it's like your character transports their foe to a mist-like dimension that reflects on their persona in some way. I don't really know, it's just some food for thought there. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Honestly, it's exciting knowing that magic was tied heavily to the mist, and that the only means of accessing the Quickenings, as well as just magic in general, was by having not only enough mist stored within the body, but having enough concentration to execute these calamitous endowments. So if you did enjoy and want to see more content related to Final Fantasy XII, hit that like button and leave your comments down below. I am interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are, and maybe if you're new, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate everyone who has followed me on this adventure, and I can't thank you enough for all your support. Thanks again guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.